Good evening, Don't Unfriend Me Nation, episode 431 of the Don't Unfriend Me Show / Breaking Truth. Tonight, we're talking about Joe Biden. He didn't have a great weekend. I don't know if your football team won, but Joe Biden had a bomb drop as more documents were found over the weekend. It can't get much worse. It's almost like they have laptop issues and secret document issues. I mean, what's wrong with that family? Why can't they keep a hold of their stuff? Folks, we'll be right back after the judge says a few words.
Hi, Matthew. It's Judge Janine, and I wanted to congratulate you on the Don't Unfriend Me show at the Dumb Show. I was thinking about that whole thing the other day when I thought it was right after Donald Trump was elected that everybody on the left started unfriending anyone on the right. So I'm glad you're calling them out. You've got a great name for the show. And I hope that you're true to the values, conservative values, Republican values, and that you call those people out. I think it's great. And I know you've got 135,000 followers. I hope you get a lot more. And just keep the faith. Keep fighting. I think we may get America back. But in the meantime, we've got a steep hill to climb. And you're one of the fighters, one of the patriots. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show, and my name is Matthew Spear. Once again, I am the host, and thanks for listening to the judge. It was kind of cool. I think I'll play that a couple times. I don't know. It's always nice to have someone you listen to often say some nice things. Folks, we are going over Joe Biden tonight. Let's get started. There is a lot to cover, so I apologize if this goes long, but I think by the end of it, you'll be up to speed. The handling of classified information, it's governed by various laws and regulations, such as the Espionage Act and the Classified Information Procedures Act, as well as executive orders issued by the president, former and current. These laws and regulations are in place to protect the security of the United States by ensuring that classified information is only shared with those who have a need to know, and that appropriate security measures are taken to safeguard that information. It's interesting. Leroy's on the show quite a bit, and myself, we both worked in intelligence. If any of this happened to either of us, we'd be in Leavenworth. And every single person with a clearance will tell you the same thing. But you are talking about the president, and they do have a little bit of, I guess, speciality with their abilities and what they can and cannot do. And I think it's important for people to understand that just because it's top secret information, it doesn't mean it can't leave a designated area. We'll go into that right now. And in the case of President Biden, as the leader of the executive branch, he would have access to this classified information as part of his role in making decisions that affect the security of the country. However, just like with any other individual with access to classified info, there are rules and there are guidelines that must be followed or at least bent in order to protect that information. For example, President Biden, like any other individual with access to classified information, would be required to sign a non-disclosure agreement, which would prohibit him from disclosing classified information to unauthorized persons or using it for unauthorized purposes, which begs the question, why was he in possession of it in the first place, and who was getting the information? Additionally, he would be required to take certain security measures to protect that information. No, not putting it in his garage, such as storing it in a secure location and using appropriate encryption when transmitting it electronically if he does so. There are several levels of classification for documents, and this is extremely important. I'm going to tell you 1 through 3 are not necessarily treated the same way as the last 2. Unclassified, this is the lowest level of classification and is intended for information that is not sensitive and can be freely shared amongst others. Number 2 is confidential. And this level of classification is intended for information that, if disclosed, could cause damage to national security. The next one is secret. And this level of classification is intended for information that, if disclosed, could cause serious damage to national security. Now, what a lot of people don't understand, and a lot of people have been saying is, wait a second, Matt, the President of the United States can declassify anything he wants. Well, that's not true. Then the other side, which is the left, says he can't declassify anything, which is also not true. There's a happy medium in the middle, and like all truths and lies, they all somehow are symbiotic to each other. The president, on a whim, can take the first three levels from secret and down to the classifications that I just mentioned and share that and disseminate that however he wants on a whim. He doesn't have to get permission to do that in any way, shape, or form. However, top secret and compartmentalized information, which is number 4, and it's the highest level of classification, is intended for information that, if disclosed, could cause exceptionally grave damage to national security. And if that happens, well, there are different laws and rules. And most of that information has to be reviewed in a SCIF. We'll talk about that in a second. Can the president go ahead and take compartmentalized or top secret information and share it wantingly? No, he cannot. And he can't declassify it simply in his mind or by saying it. He has to go through the Department of Justice, DOD, and have it redacted and properly scrubbed for any information that could give up intelligence assets that could be damaging to the C4 of the United States. It's important to note that different countries have organizations that may have different classification levels, so the names and definition of levels may vary, and this is where code word access comes in. Additionally, there are also sub-levels for each classification within each of these levels, such as restricted or for official use only or for your eyes only if you're a James Bond fan and you are over with MI6. Here's the timeline of Biden's snafus when it comes to this. Now, these documents have been found all the way back until when he was a senator. But here's the most recent, January 20th, 2017. Biden's 2 terms as vice president to President Barack Obama end. Mid-2017 to 19, Biden periodically uses an office at the Penn Biden Center, funded by China, a think tank in Washington, D.C. January 20th, 2021, Biden is sworn in as president. November 2nd, 2022, Biden's personal attorneys come across the Obama-Biden administration documents in a locked closet while packing files as they prepare to close out. At least it wasn't a lockbox, Al Gore. Biden's office in the Penn Biden Center was also a subject where this first started. They notify the National Archives. On November 3rd, 2022, right before the primaries, of course, everyone knew this was happening, and the midterms, and of course, it was ghosted and nobody talked about it because we don't want to interfere with the election, right? Right. The National Archives took possession of these documents on the 22nd, and instead of leaking it to the press like they did with Donald Trump and letting every news organization know, they went ahead and kept their mouths shut this time. On November 4th, 2022, the National Archives informs the Justice Department about the documents. Does the Justice Department say anything? Still have not had an election yet. Remember, those weren't until the 8th. Nope, Justice Department says nothing, even though they raided Donald Trump's home and made a big grandiose celebration of it and sent the FBI more times than Japanese people coming over to visit the United States, visit Disneyland. November through December 2022, Biden's lawyers searched the president's homes in Wilmington, Delaware, and Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, to see if there are other documents from his vice presidency. A willing search, one that was announced ahead of time. In no way, shape, or form was he raided with guns and weapons and tactical forces. Nobody went through Jill's underwear drawer and her personal belongings. No. This was handled on a voluntary basis. November 9th, 2022, the FBI begins an assessment of whether classified information has been mishandled. November 14th, 2022, Garland assigns U.S. Attorney John Lausch to look into whether a special counsel should be appointed to investigate the matter. December 20th, 2022, Biden's personal counsel informs Lausch that a second batch of classified documents has been discovered in the garage at Biden's Wilmington home. The FBI goes to Biden's home in Wilmington and secures the documents willingly with no raids or smashing of doors or tactical units or silent helicopters dropping down in Delaware. January 5th, 2023, Lausch advises Garland he believes that appointing a special counsel is warranted. I wonder why, because the story was about to drop. January 9th, 2023, CBS News, followed by other news organizations, reveals the discovery of the documents at the Penn Biden Center. And the White House acknowledges that a small number of Obama-Biden administration records, including some with classified markings, were found at the center. It makes no mention of the documents found in Wilmington. January 10th, 2023. Oh, I'm hunting rabbits 2023. Biden, for the first time, addresses the document issue during a press conference in Mexico City. If you actually want to call it addressing, he says he was surprised to learn that there were any documents in the Penn Biden Center and doesn't know what's in them. He does not mention the documents found in Wilmington yet again. He didn't know about the laptop either. He didn't know about Burisma. January 11th, 2023, Biden's lawyers complete their search of Biden's residence, find one additional classified document in the president's personal library in Wilmington. NBC News and other news organizations reveal a second batch of documents has been found at a location other than the Penn Biden Center. That's 3. January 12th, 2023, Biden's lawyers informs Lausch that an additional classified document has been found. Richard Sauber, a special counsel to the president, reveals publicly for the first time that documents were found in Biden's Wilmington garage, and one document was found in an adjacent room. Garland announces that he has appointed Robert Hur, a former U.S. attorney in the Trump administration, to serve as special counsel. That's the least he can do. January 14th, 2023, the White House reveals that Biden's lawyers found more classified documents at his home than previously known. Sauber said in a statement that a total of 6 pages of classified documents were found during a search of Biden's private library. Sauber said Biden's personal lawyers, who did not have security clearances, stopped their search after finding the first page on Wednesday evening. Sauber found the remaining material Thursday as he was facilitating their retrieval by the Justice Department. No raid has happened yet. No forceful warrant, no door knock at 3 a.m. No, all voluntary. January 19th, 2023, a frustrated Biden said there is no there there. He said that before. When he was persistently questioned about the discovery of the documents, he says, "We found a handful of documents were filed in the wrong place." Yeah, like 120 miles in some cases from the wrong place. Biden said to reporters who questioned him during a tour of the damage from the storms in California, you may remember, and he was quoted as saying, "We immediately turned them over to the archives and the Justice Department." Well, not all of them, or we wouldn't keep finding them. Biden said he was fully cooperating and looking forward to getting this resolved quickly. Hint, hint. "I think you're going to find there's nothing there," he said. "There's no there. Whoops, whoops. January 21st, 2023. Yes, literally just a couple days ago. Biden's attorneys say the FBI searched Biden's home in Wilmington, Delaware. No knock warrant, no tactical helicopters, no FBI's, all in black. And located additional documents with classified markings and also took possession of some of his handwritten notes. The search lasted nearly 13 hours, and the FBI took 6 items that contained documents with classified marking. You know, the media said they took boxes, U-Haul truckloads full. This is 6 items that contain documents. They mean boxes with classified marking, said Bob Bauer, the president's personal lawyer. The items spanned Biden's time in the Senate and the vice presidency, while the notes dated to his time as vice president, he said. Why is all that important? Well, because it's not the original story. Remember, it was just a document or two. It was just a little bit of cocaine. It was just a little bit of crack. It was just a little bit of money. What? I just made a humble salary, not knowing anything about anything that I'm being paid for, Hunter Biden. Everything seems to always be surface level with Joseph Biden, and the bigger and the longer we dig, the more we find, and the deeper it gets. The Espionage Act is important, and it's a law passed by the United States Congress in 1917. This is the one that they were throwing around with Trump's name. And it was enacted during World War I, and it makes it a crime to interfere with the country's military operations and aids its enemies, or to promote insubordination in the military. The act has been used to prosecute individuals for leaking classified information to the press, as well as to charge government officials with disclosing state secrets. The law also criminalized the act of receiving or possessing classified information, and the punishment for violation of the Espionage Act is fines and/or imprisonment. If President Biden were to mishandle classified information or disclose it to the unauthorized persons, he could face legal consequences, including fines, imprisonment, or even impeachment. That is, if he's found guilty. And in the United States, you're innocent no matter how guilty you are, and everyone knows it. Additionally, the disclosure of classified information could also compromise the security of the United States and put lives at risk. The language here is very important, and the left is constantly calling this mishandling of classified documents, but not as they did with Trump. as it was called top secret and highly classified and nuclear material, anything to make it sound worse. The truth is, this doesn't look good, no matter which side you were on. The protection of our assets and collection and capabilities is a crucial part of our C4 structure and national defense. Both situations are a complete abortion of protocol and demonstrates the necessity for the POTUS to have military experience or at least a healthy respect for the rules put in place long before and long after their shadows leave the Oval Office, no matter if you have an R or a D in front of your name. Folks, it is going to get even worse. I said this last week. Jesse Waters had said it on Fox News that this was just going to keep happening, and it is. There are more places. Now the next thing that you're going to see is that they don't find any more documents, which they're going to have to go ahead and check everywhere now, is you're going to see that there were people with that chain of custody or those NDAs that he did not sign or did sign with those documents, that people probably will come out and say, well, we hounded him. We asked him several times to get those documents back, and he never returned them. But he was the vice president of the United States. He was the senator. What do you want us to do? And they're going to have chain of custody documents that were ignored. This is the next step. You're going to see a long line of complete disservice to the process and what's supposed to happen. Now, you can get mad at Donald Trump. You can say that, and that's fine. But what you can't do is sit here and not compare the two, that they are absolutely similar. The last thing I will say is you can take everything that Biden's done and everything that Trump has done and times it by 100, and it still doesn't even scratch the surface to what Hillary Clinton did. So let's keep everything in perspective. Hillary's guilty as hell. Folks, thanks for watching. Don't unfriend me. I do appreciate it. I hope you come back and watch the show again. If you would do me a favor, please drop by at thedumbshow.com. Stop by, pick up a shirt, pick up some coffee. We have Minuteman coffee for sale there. It is the best, veteran-owned, veteran-operated. I promise you, if you buy a bag and you don't love it, I will give it back to you for free. It's not a problem. You can keep it. I'll give you your money back. But right now, if you buy 3, you get a 4th bag free. Do me one more favor. Stop by and get yourself a wooden flag like the one behind me from PercivalFlags.com. PFCFlags.com is where you want to go. Jason and Katie are amazing. They have beautiful flags. And when you buy a small flag or larger, you get a free desktop flag as well. And last but not least, I always save these things to the end. The Veteran Crisis Hotline, 1-800-273-8255, press 1. 22 veterans commit suicide a day. If you know a veteran suffering from TBI, anxiety, depression, or PTS, please share this number. It takes just a second. If they can't make that call, you can reach out to me. I will help you make that call. Remember, veterans need battle buddies and swim buddies in the military, and right now they need anybody, and anybody is you. Make that phone call. We're losing too many. It's free of charge. It'll never be reported to their duty station. And last but not least, if you are a civilian, you can call too. They don't turn anyone away. Folks, I'll be on live tonight. Come by and see me, say hello, stop by the show at The Dumb Show across all social media, and maybe we can chat online and talk about this show. Tell me what you think down below. Share it, like it, pound that button. I will see you tomorrow and tonight if you come on live. Bye.